Welcome back to fixbuildrace. In this episode we're going to be doing a lot more work on the 1UZ Cressida, trying to get it closer to a point where it can run.
Got to get the fuel pump out, plumb all the fuel lines, little things like power steering lines, radiator in, gearbox on, all that sort of stuff's going to be in this episode, but will be done over the next couple of weeks. But hopefully the episode after this might be able to fire it up, so we're just going to keep cracking away.
Fingers crossed, that's what we're aiming for. Bit of a big call, yeah, but we're hoping we can get it done. I guess now that we've said it, we're just going to add heaps of progress in this one so that the next one's us firing it up. And yeah, the videos aren't going to be coming out as frequent, unfortunately, because yeah, progress is just slowing down. I'm away next weekend and things like that. But today we're going to figure out a bunch of stuff that Sam can do during the week and next weekend when I'm gone, and then hopefully I'll be able to come back and just do all the power wiring so the car's pretty much ready to fire as long as everything else is done, because we've got a loom that'll hopefully work, and then power wiring done, it should be able to turn key, which should all be in this episode hopefully. My back's also pretty crooked, so we're just going to set up the gearbox, and then Sam's probably going to try put that in himself or get another mate to come help during the week or something. Yeah, as Sam said, fuel pump out. We got to flush the fuel lines first because there's some stank ass fuel in there. So
It's about 4 years old.
yeah, it's horrific. It honestly smells so bad. So yeah, we'll flush the fuel lines with the old fuel pump in if it still works, and then pull it out, and then I can go fit a new pump at work just because we've got the stuff to do it easily at work. And then yeah, I can bring that in, drop that back in, and then do the fuel pump wiring upgrade while I do the all the power wiring. I'll probably power up the ECU today so that I can suck the file off the ECU, and then I can again go into work and make up a base mat for the 1UZ and identify all the inputs and outputs in the ECU so it'll be turnkey. I also had a look at the analytics on YouTube, and about 25% of you aren't subscribed, so would really appreciate a subscribe and a like. It would really help get the channel out there. If you want to see more stuff like this, see more builds in the future, that'll really help us.
And if you want them to come out a bit faster.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll just get cracking and try to get a lot done.
Let's get into it. So this is the old throw-up bearing that came in the kit, which, as we said in the last video, didn't work. So I went and got one from a VZN 167 Hilux, which these gearboxes came out of as well. That was a bit of a muck around trying to get those, because about a month wait from Oz, but guys at Napa Auto Parts sussed us out, pulled one out of a clutch kit for me, so shout outs to them. So yeah, we're just going to throw it in, put everything on, and hopefully it works. So this bearing was sitting about here at like rest, so, and when the clutch comes in it'll be pulling forward and it'll be sitting on the spline here. So this one,
as I said, we got in contact with Calvin at Car Tuning Company, and he did know straight away what we needed.
So
it'll probably sit right back there at rest, and then probably at the edge when it's engaged, so it'll be running like that, which is what you want.
So yeah, that's good.
We'll chuck it
Shout
together.
out to Calvin for
The info.
the info.
So yeah, we'll set the this is an adjustable doodad from the kit, so we'll set that to the right length, make sure this is running where we want it, and then Sam's going to bench press it in on his own.
So I've just figured out that we're going to have to drop the tank to get the fuel pump out, which is good fun, but we got a hoist, so it shouldn't be too bad. And as I said, the fuel in this thing stinks. Don't know why I'm sniffing it, but whew, that's not what you want your fuel to smell like at all. So Sam's just gone out and got some fuel that we can flush through the lines, because we don't want all that old shite going into the engine when we try to do the first startup. Anyway, so we'll put fuel in it, and then I'll show you what I've done up the front to trigger the fuel pump. Hopefully it's going to work. If it doesn't, then my ECU wiring isn't going to work. So yeah, we'll go up there and have a look at that. So I don't have the ECU or anything plugged in because none of that's configured yet in the ECU. So I'm just going to power up the body. So I've got a ground just bolted on the chassis here and the power coming up here. So we'll just chuck some jump leads from a battery for that. And if you come in here, what I've got is a wire just shoved onto like a ground point up in there, and then I'm just going to shove this in the back. We'll turn the key, make sure there's no fires, and then this is our supposed fuel pump trigger. So I've got that one there is triggering the fuel pump from the ECU, so hopefully when I ground that it's going to turn the fuel pump on, and if it doesn't then the ECU is not going to be able to trigger the fuel pump. But if it doesn't, we'll figure it out. Might just be a case of repinning something. Alright, that was a mission. You can ask Sammy about that one.
Yeah, well, kind of had to do it on the ground even though we had it on the hoist, but it's alright. Got there in the end.
Yeah.
Tow bar was a bit of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, tow bar had to drop and all the bolts were rusty. So this is what we could see from the top through that hole. But this is the actual fuel pump here, fuel pump hanger. So that's a part I need to take out and take to work to fit a new pump. So we just don't want any of this shite going into the tank, even though the tank will probably need a clean out. Moment of truth. You're ready to get wafted with like ancient fuel. Oh yes, we forgot to tell you guys, but we tried to prime the fuel pump to flush the old, or like the fresh fuel through the lines, and it wouldn't go. I think that might be why it wouldn't go. We tried to ground out the trigger, which I have the ECU wired to, and that wouldn't work, so I was like freaking out. But then we probed this with direct power and it would not go, so hopefully that can clean up alright to mount another, like a good fuel pump too. Right, we'll have a look in here. Oh, there's so much crud, man. There's like rusty shit everywhere. And it reeks.
Can you get in here with?
Oh, no way. Straight up. Yeah, look at that side. And like down, straight down. That's not what you want. So you want to try to get this professionally cleaned, or do a fuel cell?
Yeah, you're gonna have to sort something out, eh?
Try buy a new tank.
I have to. I can pull that one out and see what that one looks like.
Is that one full of fuel? Yeah, you can try if you want. It might just be the same though.
Probably.
Probably because this was like sitting with low fuel for ages as well, until moisture introduced, and that's why it smells so funky too. Because water got in there. We're back to work on the Cressida. I've had a week off. Sam's been working hard. It's a late Friday night session, as you can see. Everyone else is out partying, and we're having pizza and beers and building a Cressida.
Better, right?
So Sam's been busy. As you can see, these are mounted. They look like they've been bloody 3D printed, this block, but how'd you make it, Sam?
It's a chopping board. I cut it up, glued it together, then used the blowtorch just to smooth out all the edges, and if it looks 3D printed, I'll take that.
So I've never seen that done before, but honestly it turned out really good for what it is, so happy with that. So now we can wire these up. So the 2 meters of extra wire that I added on each bloody thing just have to come up here, so might have to refund Sam some wire. What else? Yeah, no, well said.
Sweet. So I've got thermostat housing on, the gasket and thermostat and all that stuff finally arrived from Toyota after like 2 weeks. Bloody useless.
We still love you though, Toyota.
Yeah, we do love you. Only reason I haven't got the thermostat and stuff in there is because I don't know, I just haven't got. I want to clean the housing up a little bit before I do that. I've been busy doing other things. Made the blanking plate, so just got a bit of alley, cut it, sanded it. Looks pretty clean. Still got to find some bolts to slap in there,
Some
just
buttons.
to clean those up.
Moving forward, just put some stuff back in the engine bay as well.
Like
Booster lines
rudder
and
there,
boring stuff.
line, wipers.
What about the cool thing you figured out there?
So this like heater hose was off the parts car, which had a 2L diesel in it, turbo diesel. So you're doing one of these, get a 2L turbo diesel heater hose because that
Yeah.
works.
Works
And
well.
then
Haven't done the other one yet, but we've got one that works.
and then this hose here was the original one off here, and I'm not gonna put it on just yet, but
It's gonna go on there.
it's gonna go in there. Fits pretty much perfectly.
Yeah.
So
What else? There was something else. Oh, he's mounted the battery studs that I showed in the wiring video. So the power cables are gonna just bolt onto these as like a junction block. So this is the starter cable here. It's gonna come up, tie it along, and then thing on there. I've got to extend this one from the fuse box. This is all what I'm going to be trying to do tonight. Extend this one from the fuse box. It's going to go back out through the guard, and then pop in through there, just underneath the washer bottle, and then go onto there. Then I'm going to try get the big battery cable through this grommet here and onto there. That'll be the power wiring sorted.
inside.
Inside. Oh, you got the gearbox on. That's a big.
Yeah, gearbox on.
Not
Not bolted up fully yet. Had to muck around a little bit with the clutch, with the throw-up bearing, because we measured it and it still didn't work, so I had to loosen it off quite a bit. We went to put the gearbox on and we're like, oh, why is it not going on? It was probably about 10 mils off. So now I just got to do the hard lines, mount the pedal, and that's all done, bolted up properly. Shifter in.
Oh, dark. Yep. He also has mounted my relays and stuff. It's a bit dark in there, but as you can see, as you can't see, they're mounted in here. Gonna sit behind the glove box. They're not fully bolted up yet because he wasn't sure if we needed to pull them back out, but they're looking good. It's gonna work. Glove box is gonna go on and work. Tuning cable is gonna sit down in this little cubby down here.
Ready to do some skids.
Yeah, bolt with no drive shaft.
No drive shaft. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that this week.
Oh, nice.
But I gotta, unless you remember the measurement.
1/420, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I might just double check that tonight, or
Oh yeah, the box is in. This is where the engine's gonna sit and everything. So yeah.
should probably tighten down the engine mounts too then.
Oh yeah. That's a good idea. Before we have too many beers.
Yeah. Too many already.
Yeah. Nothing interesting in here. You guys saw the gas tank. That's getting sorted. Oh yeah, we haven't talked about that.
Oh,
Sam found a guy.
so I found a guy, probably the only guy I could find in Auckland. So he's getting an acid wash and recoating the fuel tank, and he's going to do my radiator inlet modification too.
Oh, sick.
I don't know. I'll find the name, because if anyone needs to.
Good shout out that legend.
Auto Radiators on Nixon Street in Grey Lynn. Shout out to them. What are you up to, Jack?
Cutting my thumbs to bits. Yeah, so we just pushed the battery cable through. We've already ran the length of the car. Didn't show you that because it's just pushing a cable up in length
I'll
of the
show
car.
where we've run it.
Yeah, and then we come up to that battery stud I showed you, and then we're going to come off that one through this grommet here and onto the other battery stud to transfer the power into the engine bay. So we've come, yeah, get some light on there. So we've come through this grommet here. I'm just fixing, don't mind that ugly bit of taping, just fixing up some taping, and then that grommet's going to sit back in there, should seal all nicely. It's the proper way to come through into the engine bay. Don't bloody just like pop a grommet out and push the cable beside it, which a lot of people do. You're just going to bloody flood your car, mate. Go through a grommet or drill a new hole and put a new grommet in, like the extra time it takes.
So yeah, we got the power stud up in here. We got the cable running inside with the rest of the wiring in through here, up behind this cover, and then up through here, and that's just gonna sit there, and then battery sits there. So pretty easy, eh, Jack?
Yeah, especially when someone pulled the whole interior apart already for you. It's much easier than when I do it at work all by myself. So I thought I'd just show you what cable we're using as well. This is like a welding cable. So as you can see, it's double insulated, and it's definitely up to the power capacity. This is what the current capacity, sorry. This is what we use at work and stuff. So we use this like on customer vehicles and stuff. So Sam knows he's getting a good product. It's just a bit harder to strip than normal wire because it's too bloody.
That's how the pros do it, eh?
Yeah. Well, I am a pro, so that's how I do it. Oh, don't forget. Oh, actually, no, they went on after. Before you go and comment, oh, you've got the heat shrink. No, the heat shrink's going to go over the top of the terminal, as we already found out on the first one we did.
How are we gonna?
Well, usually I have to do this at work by myself, so let's see how I go by myself. I'll be nice to your paint this time. Get this in the jaws.
Get your hand in the way of the frame.
Sorry. And you wrestle it really awkwardly, even though you've got a mate here, but he's holding a camera, so he can't help.
Got the important job.
Yeah. This is what I have to do at my day job anyway, so push it in nice and tight. It even puts a little 25 on there so you know how big the cable is.
I don't think the camera's gonna pick that up.
Just take my word for it, eh?
That heat gun made a weird sound, eh?
Good, I think it's broken, bro. You might need a new one.
That's not broken, bro. It's Makita.
Is that cool a little bit? Bit of mess.
Yeah.
No. Don't.
Don't what?
I was just,
Make a comment.
yeah, see your brain working there. And then that is a nice little booty, so that when you put that on the stud and you drop your, I don't know, socket and it touches there in the engine, it doesn't arc out. So that one will go on top, this one will go on the bottom, and then this one will come around and go underneath as well, and that one just on top and cover, bit of protection.
Sweet, so I've been busy. Put the guards front end back on so it actually looks like a car now.
It's getting us very
excited.
Yeah, very excited.
Almost looks like you could just turn the key.
Mounted coils, igniters, whatever.
Igniters, yeah.
I did a loom, well, we did the loom tuck and I put it in up here, so.
Oh yeah, you've done that too, have you?
Yep.
Oh, sick.
So, stole the idea from, well, my donor car, so just a couple riv nuts.
It's not a donor car, it's your race car.
Yeah,
It will be your race car.
will be the race. Yeah, so just had a couple riv nuts with some P-clamps and some conduit, and that was just tucked up there, so because this thing is so low, the wheel won't rub through the wires. I don't know if you're going to be able to see anything in there. Oh yeah. So that's where it normally goes, where those clips are, and when it's low, it rubs through the wires.
It's like the good old Sylvia's. I'm going to have to do that when I do my coilovers, which have been shipped now.
Do they know about that?
No, I guess I do now. I've got lots of parts sitting around, but I'm waiting to have everything, because if you're not from New Zealand, you're not familiar, if you do any major modifications you have to get it certified, and if your car isn't certified it's not roadworthy, and if you're not roadworthy you won't get insurance. So I was thinking about doing coilovers and a few other things like sewn, but then I realised if anything happened I wouldn't be insured, because the insurance would just be like, oh no, you're not really road legal, so I'm gonna save up all the parts and do it all at once.
And the other thing is, like, cert costs at least $600,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter how many modifications you do. But if Jack did coilovers and then he decided that he's going to do engine swap,
Which I am.
which he is, he'd have to get it recerted, repay the money, and it's not worth it. So we kind of do everything at once and then get it all certed one time. So
Yeah.
don't waste our hard-earned money,
Yeah,
eh?
$600, that could go on like, I don't know, a tank of gas.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing with this. I'm getting everything in.
Yeah.
So
This
coilovers,
probably won't
engine,
be road legal for a few months yet, but it'll be running
be running and driving, and
in a month, because we're waiting on the fuel tank.
yeah, fuel tank's gonna take dropped it in 3 weeks ago. It's gonna be done middle next month, so almost 2 months. But
Yeah.
oh well,
Oh,
it is what it is. I guess we know for next time. Got to do it earlier.
Yeah, do fuel tank first, check it first. Hopefully next time we won't be battling with rusty fuel tanks, but
Yeah, hopefully.
hopefully.
But yeah, we're just gonna
Fuel cell that.
keep going, and
I've also sprained my ankle, so if you see me hobbling, it's because I sprained my ankle at football.
alright, so we're just about to crank for oil pressure. Just gonna pour some of this through just to pick up any little bits of metal or crap in the engine. So sump plug's already out. Just gonna pour this in, let it drain straight through, and then we'll put the sump plug back in. Put some oil that we're gonna use to just run it up for the first startup. Then we'll drain that out and then put in the actual oil that we'll be using. Yeah, just do it.
Also going to do an engine flush.
Yeah.
With the first heat cycle we're going to put some engine flush in there just to be safe, really.
We don't really know too much about this engine.
It's a big moment, Sam. I had the starter wire in the wrong pin, so we just figured that out and put it in the right place. Sam's working the key, I'm watching the oil light, so the oil light hopefully is wired up to the right spot because it's on, which means there's a ground there at the moment. And I'm gonna look up here.
Ready?
Yeah. Worked. Just go and watch that oil light.
Does it need to turn off?
Huh? Yeah. Just hold it.
It doesn't sound like it's engaged.
Huh? It's turning, yeah, it's spinning. Here. It turned off. You got oil pressure. Sick. No, you're just playing with it.
I don't really put much soul in it. It's like I don't think that I'm with it. I'm on the pro team. You'll be calling that Olympic. They see me rolling. No millionaire, I'm sunning. Peter, 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 Pop. Well,